some crazy shit, man, right? Because I finally got around to starting to write the Fat Joe book. Finally, after all these years, I never wrote a book.
Crack.
And I just got to Don Cartagena, my single that I had Puff on. And as I'm telling the story in the book, it's bugged out because Big had told me he was going to do a song with me, right, for my album, right? So when I went to Big, Big was like, yo, I'm not disrespecting in no way, but he told me, yo, you know, Puff blocking. You know what I'm saying? Blocking. I told him, my brother, you know, me, Puff, and Big, we family, but he was like, yo, Puff blocking, Joe. You got to go talk to him. Like, you got to you got to step the Puff because he acting funny, whatever. So I said, I know what Puff going to be. So I walk up in there. I got my attitude. I'm on my Joe Crack shit. So I go in the club. I see Puff. I'm, yo, Puff, let me talk to you. Right? So Puff like, all right, what's up, Joe? And I'm like, yo, man, Big said he going to do a song with me. You blocking it.
I love it. That's what's up.
And that's it. So I said, yo, you blocking this shit. So the nigga Puff looked at me, right? And what's crazy is Puff's tough guys was my guys. Von Zip, Wolf. So all these guys that really hold him down, they're my guys.
Right.
In the heart, like, so they looking at him like, you know, don't front on Joe. Like
this I do.
He says, yo, look, right now it's crazy. That was when Biggie was like 1, 2, and 3. So he was like, right now it's crazy, but I'll get on any song you want. I'll get on the song. But, you know, I'm working on Big's second album. Please, I'll do the song.
Yeah, to be focused.
And that's how we put Puff on Don Cartagena, my single Don Cartagena. So that was like a political shit right there. Redman, one of the best lyricists,
if not the
hip-hop,
best. Right.
Period, though.
Yeah.
So, like, I was there. So, like, I was there when Redman was doing shows and the whole fucking crowd had tissue in their nose acting like the Redman. Fuck you, Redman. And all that. Yeah, yo, Redman, get off that old Puff smooth shit.
Right.
Yo, and
he's still like that, focused. I love that dude, man. He works. That's what he do.
How? So if you talking about RZA, you have to escape to do the song with Biggie. How did you and him become like partners? You became the dynamic duo. Redman and Meth. How did that come about?
That was Kevin Lyles at Def Jam, you know what I'm saying? He had the bright idea of putting us both on a tour together, Month of the Man. Now, Redman being who he is, a real G, because he could have said no, you know, and that would have been that. But he was gracious enough to let me go out, us together on that tour, and the whole time, it wasn't no tour buses. It was 15 passenger vans, but it was just me, him, Shanita Floyd, and the driver. And we was going state to state. And back then, you had to freestyle at every in-store. Some of y'all young dudes ain't got to go through that. We had to go to in-stores, all kind of craziness. You had to freestyle all night and all this craziness. So in the midst of this, Doc, he like, yo, we need to do this song together, blah, 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 this, that, and the third. And we used to toy around with little hooks here and there. So I had to sneak off and do that shit, too.
I told a story the other day. I think it was to the Dream. Shout out to FanMio, FANMIO. They sponsor the show every single day. That's where you connect with your favorite rappers, athletes, artists, one-on-one. Now, I told a story I want to see if you remember this. If you don't remember it, you can say, fine, you don't. Right. But I remember when we was in the ATL back in the days, they had like Jack the Rapper or something. Yeah. And we was in the front freestyling. Me, you, the whole world, everybody was out there from the school at that time. And a nigga walked up with a red bandana with 2 guns in his hands in front of the hotel. I don't know if you remember this, but I'm going to tell you who. So we all looking like, who the fuck is this? And he's like, yo, Crack, what up? But he still got the shit. So we looking at him, and he lowered the shit. It was TUPAC.
Wow.
You was there. You was there. You was in the cypher. You
I
was
missed
there,
it
man.
then. I missed it then.
Damn,
you know, I used to
man.
blow. We was smoking dust
That's
back
the
then.
first time I ever seen Tupac. I ever met Tupac was there. And after that, I met him a bunch of other times.
Right.
But that was the first time we was all out there. I remember the girl who used to sing, Snoop is on here. You remember the girl who used to sing all the Death Row's in the house?
Jewel. Jewel. That was her name, Jewel. Something like that. Jewel.
She was hanging out with us. She was hanging out with us out there too, singing that shit. We had to sing that shit over and over again. She over there. Death Row's in the house. Lonely. God damn. Right.
Those was the days, boys.
So that's what happened. So y'all went on tour, and you and Redman, y'all just clicked up so much that y'all said, "Fuck it, let's make music together."
More Doc than me, because I still had that stipulation with RZA and them. You know what I mean? It was more or less like keep it in the family, this, that, and the third. And anybody know me, I'm very loyal to the crew. You know, it's like, yeah. But I had to sneak off and do that shit too. We went all the way to Long Island. We did it in Mirror Image. Tommy Uzo, rest in peace. He just passed away, I think, yesterday or the day before. Brilliant engineer. Google him. He's done millions of records for everybody, from Michael Jackson to Redman and Method Man. A lot of people, man. He's gone now, though. So I had to sneak off and do this record with Redman too. And who knew? The thing done turned into a movie, a TV show. You know, we got a platinum record out of it. It's just a blessing, man. I love that dude.
Different kind of energy. I love Redman too.
Word.
You know, I gave Redman my demo.
Word.
Yeah, he came. You know, I was still in the streets. I made a demo with Diamond. So Redman came to perform at Club 2000 in Harlem, uptown, Washington Heights. And I went around the back. And when he came out, I was like, yo, my man, let me holler at you. You know how niggas do to us.
Yeah.
I played him. He sat right there, and I played him my shit on the cassette. And he listened. He gave me love and all that. And then, you know, he
never hit you back.
He remember that shit, though. He remember, like, nah.
I love
it. Redman, yo, he's one of my favorites. I say, to Cal, your solo album, right?
Yeah.
And when I was listening to Cal, I felt like the music was changing. Like it wasn't like on some just straight Wu-Tang. You know, when even now, if I hear a new beat right now, I know that's that Wu-Tang shit. Like, right now, some producer come play me some shit, I know that's Wu-Tang style.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the Cal album, it felt like you was trying to change like the sound. Like maybe.
Yes. Yeah, but what happened was that was by default because RZA had lost all his data in a flood. So we was basically doing shit on the fly while we were on the road promoting the first album. So I was in studios from New York all the way to San Francisco and everything in between. Just, you know, nights when dudes was after the show, you know, they was doing what they was doing. I was in the studio writing, creating. Got it done, though. Got it done. And that, in my opinion, in hindsight, when I look at it, that album was more of a vibe. It was more or less like people really believed what I was preaching at that time. It was a whole different style, and nobody was doing what I was doing at that point in time. Because you remember, I just seen a funny video just now. This girl was like, what 90s rappers used to do, and they was doing the, you know, the leader of the new school bop. The East Coast Stomp, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Killing us with that. And then I looked at my videos and I never did it, son. Ever.
And you had that hop,
that bop.
And what made you throw the shit in the eyes in the video? This shit.
I ain't want to be nobody's sex symbol. I got, you know, it was getting to a point where, nah, real talk. It was getting to a point where.
Hey, listen, we know you a family man, but the ladies love meth.
I get that. But when you up there with your crew and you know, y'all hardcore, and it's like you getting a lot of love from everybody in there, but when the ladies start screaming, it's like, dang, I'm trying to be cool up here. What y'all doing?
You try to be hardcore. You don't want to be the
word.
You ain't want to be the LL or the crew. You want to be the Method Man, to Cal.
You know what I mean? But you got to embrace all that stuff because it makes you who you are later on. You know what I mean? And that goes a long way.
You know, there's nothing LL could do wrong in my eyes. I remember seeing y'all was at the Palladium and y'all was rocking. It just came to my head. I remember one time Wu-Tang was just killing. Y'all was killing up there. And LL came and stood on stage with y'all. He had the big fur on. And he never moved. He never... He was just standing there with the big fur. Y'all was killing it. And I was just like, oh, shit. They got LL standing up there on stage.
You're talking about Idol? Bruh, like, and since that day, I've been friends with LL, man. For real, for real. And I'm going to put this out there right now. I got to do this Smith record with him and Will Smith. They got to do this record with me. I don't even curse in my rhymes no more, so I think I can get a green light on that one. I'm going to put it out there now. Clifford Smith, Will Smith, and James Todd Smith. Let's go.
I think that sounds like a combo.
You know what I mean? For real.
That sounds like a smoker.
For real. And Will got bars. Niggas slept on Will Smith. Will got bars, see?
I always thought, I love Will Smith to death. Like, I feel like that's hip-hop royalty. That's a different type of a level. But I always thought Rakim wrote Summertime. Here it is, the groove, slightly transformed, just a little bit of end in the norm, something with it. Every time I heard it, I always felt like Kim wrote that.
It might have been the inspiration.
Like Ghost wrote that. Like, I don't know.
I'm saying. But his first line had Smooth in there, and who was the smoothest at that point in time? Rakim. So Rakim probably inspired that flow. Some of your best artists, some of your favorite artists done jacked flows and ran. Remember DOS Effects? Everybody was doing DOS Effects to the point where DOS couldn't even do it. Right. 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 And DOS was killing it. It's just the people.
The sewer.
Right.
Like, now, let me tell you something. You had the eyes. I was with the army jacket. Nobody came out the sewer. Like,
nobody
came out the fucking sewer. Hey, yo, man, that was their introduction. That was hard as fuck.
Yeah.
That was hard as fuck. They came out the sewer.
They guilty of that 90s dance, though. They was doing the East Coast stuff. They was doing that.
This shit here. I remember I got gas when they said, Joe, in case you didn't know, the flow was fat like Joe, with it on the to the hip, the hop, you know what I'm saying?
That's the joint right
Every
there.
time that shit came on, I got gas. Let me ask you about that All I Need, You and Mary. Crown the best, the greatest collaboration, you know, it's crown the best.
Mary's an institution. For one, she ain't that shit, but she didn't have to do that. Like, and for her to jump on that record, Puff to engineer that shit, and for RZA and him to collab like that, especially in light of everything that I told you prior about us spreading love with other artists and things, like for them to come to all that was big, so it was meant to be, and it was it's definitely an experience because my shows went from a bunch of dudes in the front because that was that bring the pain, release your Delph energy. As soon as that All I Need came out, bro, it was like that thing switched, and it was like
that shit was a different vibe.
Yeah, it definitely did, man. But I love that record. I love what it stood for. Black love always, for sure.
Yeah, man, that thing right there, that's forever.
Yeah, it is.
That's a different type of thing. And Mary, you know, she the queen. You know, my sister, I love her to death.
Yeah.
And but I remember it wouldn't turn off. Like it would like if I went to a club, it's like you would hear it 10 times in one night, 20 times. Like it just wouldn't come off.
That's crazy.
Like I knew the party started when I heard that shit. Like when I'm walking in, you know, because I partied a lot, man. You know what I'm saying? I moved out to Miami partying. You know what I'm saying? Shout out my brother Raul. He know. And we was in the club 6-7 days a week if we wasn't on tour. And when that bitch came on, that's when you knew, yo, party has started.
I was never really in the club where they played a hit record of mine. It was always after the fact because I was always in the studio working on the next joint, working on the Wu-Tang album, working on the solo joint, working on the Me and Redman joint. The only time I really got to enjoy a record where I was in the club and it came on and people lost it was the Rockwilder, that Black album. I was like,
different.
yeah,
Shout out to Rockwilder.
we got one. We got one.
That shit was like, that shit come on in the club. So
Yeah.
they used to play that, and they used to play that Rockefeller joint to say, Mac come through on the club with that thug shit. Real deep on the up with the thug. You know how I be. Or how VIP rolling up the B.I.G. So
yes, sir.
Those shits was coming back to back in the club around that time.
Yeah.
Man, shout out to Rockwilder, man, one of the greatest producers.
For real. Shout out to Rock.
Of all time. And
we need a battle. Well, I can't have him battle E-Double, but Eric Sherman got to battle somebody. I need to hear those E-bangers. There's a lot of joints out there that E produced. People don't know Eric produced.
Just like music. And what
Dave,
happened?
Come on.
What
the Dave
happened?
Hollister shit, all that shit.
There. Let's go to the verses. You're the only Wu-Tang member I seen in the comments when RZA was going in. You the only one. I asked Ray the other day, how did he keep his composure? Because that's your guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's why I say I won't battle nobody or I won't. I know it's a celebration. Swiss Timberland, they made something incredible right now for the Corona. It's the best shit that's happened to IG. I mean, how did you feel before Primo and RZA battle? Did you feel like, holy shit, like?
I was psyched. I was psyched for it.
7:59. You know what I mean? How did you feel? 7:59. The battle started at 8.
Yeah, my underarm started sweating and shit. I was ready. I was like, okay, it's about to go down. Let's see what happens. And, during the battle, I was just having fun and stuff. There were certain records Primo threw on, and I was putting up comments like, you ain't produced that shit, nigga. Stop lying. Yeah, him and RZA, that was a great battle. That was dope for hip-hop, man. We need more
of it. That was phenomenal for hip-hop. That was phenomenal. And that's the shit. I was just like, oh, my God. So I told Ray, I said, yo, Ray, I seen you in more comments in the Teddy Riley Babyface battle than in the RZA Primo. That boy Ray was all in there like, yo, Teddy, hit him with the club joint, Teddy.
Cause that's Ray's style right there. I kid you not. When we was on the road, Ghostface or Ray, they would always play 60s, 70s, doo-wop, soul. There wasn't no hip-hop in there. It used to drive me crazy.
I love R&B too. I'm R&B in my soul. So I know Ray did that song dedicated to Marvin Gaye. Ray loved, he loved that R&B shit. He loved that R&B shit. Me too. I love it. I love it too. I think
Chef also.
One of the coldest roles you ever played in your house, in your life. One of the realest. That belly, boy.
Yeah.
That rolled dolo from state to state.
That's Hype Williams right there. Because, at that point in time, a lot of us had worked with Hype, and he was just one of us. So he was so comfortable to be around. So when that thing was like action, it was action. You know what I mean? And
it wasn't even like acting. It just felt like it's a masterpiece. It's a hip-hop masterpiece, that movie.
Well, it was a lot of room for ad-libbing and shit like that, you know what I mean? And it was good. It was good for the moment because, like I said, a lot of that shit that Hype shot, he was doing without the licensing, and the producers was like, we're shutting it down right now. And, they got mad because DMX tore up, his pit bulls tore up one of the trailers. It was madness, that whole shoot. And for him to still get a movie out of that and people call it a classic, hats off to Hype Williams, man. Hats off to Hype Williams.
Oh, yeah. That's one of the most underrated movies of all time.
Actually.
It's just, I think his bar was, it's never been a guy who put out a first movie that the bar was so high for him because he was shooting all these $1 million videos and everybody, whatever. But that shit is like, that's damn near like, that's like the Scarface, the Belly, and it's there. You know, City of Gods. You know, it's certain movies that you can watch at any given. What movies you been watching lately on Netflix? Now that we're in quarantine.
Sheesh. I watched that Kareem and Coffee.
Oh, you watched it? I've been scared to watch that movie. You like the movie? It go there a couple of times, but you know, Taraji is like, she feel like she part of my family and shit, so I'm gonna support whatever she in, and they killed it. It was funny as hell to me, brother. I liked it a lot. All right, my shit was what's the name of that movie, man? Extraction.
All right, I heard about that. I might have to check that shit, bro.
Nah, B, that's John Wick on steroids.
Word.
Nah,
yeah, I like
Extraction.
Hemsworth. I like Chris Hemsworth. Word.
Yo, listen, that Extraction is serious. And I know, but maybe the people don't know, but I feel the same way. When I do stuff like this, you know, I do it for the people. Everybody's stuck at home. But at the same time, it's just a natural transition that shows growth. And the way I look at shit like this, what I'm doing, and it's like NBA, NFL players, they get to retire and they become commentators. And because they went and they played chips, and you got Isaiah Thomas. So why do we like Charles Barkley and Shaq so much, and Kenny? Because they played the game.
Right.
You know, they was in the game.
So we can respect what they say.
Respect their wisdom of the game.
Yeah.
So I do shit like this because it's almost like commentating. And I got tired of seeing people do shit like this and was changing the narrative and doing goofball shit. Yeah. And I said, you know, shout out to the Drink Champs. I am the first guest guinea pig on Drink Champs ever. You know, I've never seen a guy use me and start making me tell him stories that I could have died if he would have played the whole real Drink Champs. When I gave him like DMX stories, he was like, yo, Nori was like, yo, I need that shit. I need that shit. I'm telling him all type of shit I would never tell nobody.
Nobody, right.
I walked out of that shit with anxiety. My head was hurting. I was like, oh, shit. Man, I'm going to get killed after this.
Oh, you crazy.
You know, Nori had me going. But, well, you know, but Nori, obviously, we wasn't even talking about Nori with that. But when I was looking at certain documentaries, all type of shit, and I was like, yo, man, they're not really bigging up our people the way it is. And a lot of times the facts was wrong. Like, it was shit I knew. And I'm there looking at the shit, and I'm like, yo, this shit, they lying.
They lying.
No, I swear to God. It wasn't about me. It's just me being a hip-hop fan.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Me being a hip-hop fan, I'm like, yo, these niggas lying. And so that's why I started doing shit like this. Also with the acting. We love acting. And
you
know, we're gonna always be able to tour, me and you, forever.
Right.
But they gotta be like a natural transition. And you chose acting. And yo, let me tell you something. You take it serious.
Yeah, I do.
I loved you in Deuces. I love you in everything, but you take it serious. Another guy I like a lot is Mos Def whenever he acts.
Yeah. Mos is trained like a motherfucker though. His natural ability is off the chain. His range is off the hook, just like his rhymes. You know, Mos is a institution. He ain't even a star. That nigga's he's like a fucking church.
He's different.
For real, a mosque. Pardon me, like a mosque. You know, Mos is exactly what it is. He got the right first name, Mos.
Mos Def. And acting, and you as well. And I was happy for you, even though you don't need me to be happy for you. But when they announced that you was in Power, Mary's in Power, and I was like, fucking right. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel we gotta salute our legends, our leaders, and whenever they get something going, what up, DJ Drama? Whenever, you know, you do something successful or something dope, I'm proud for you, even though
I
I'm not there every day. I'm like, fuck that. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? And so what has that been like, the power thing? Is this, so it's like, you ain't never scared. You got confidence. Mary got confidence. But coming off a show that was so, a spinoff off a show that was so epic, power.
Yeah.
This shit gotta be dope.
It does. You know, it gives you a bit of anxiety. I ain't gonna even lie. And the fact that I got the part that I got. I mean, I've been in courtrooms before, but as the way a lawyer walks and talks, I don't know that language. I don't know that walk. So for me, my research was more or less like find the human side and build on that, you know? So you find the human side of these people outside of the courthouse. So what do? Well, they drink their coffee with one hand just like everybody else. They what do after that? They go home, they have dinner. If they have a significant other, they probably, you know, have sex with their wife, or maybe not. Maybe they like playing video games later on that night. So many different layers. So by the time you do go in front of the camera, you're grounded enough with so much of a backstory on this character that you bring that forth in your performance. It's a weird, tricky kind of thing, and it took me a minute to catch on to it, to make it, you know, taste right for me, to season it enough so that I felt comfortable doing it. But you should never get too comfortable, because those butterflies that you get before you shoot, that little anxiousness, that's growth, and you got to pay attention to that.
Yo, yeah, that's a Joker moment. Let me tell you something. Those butterflies you get make you better. It gets you prepared. You know, when I did She's Gotta Have It for Spike Lee put me in, You Gotta Have It. I locked myself in a hotel room, a little hotel room. It looked like a crackhead room. And I was just going over, practicing. Lines and lines and lines. And I would just go, and I would go hard. But let me tell you something. It wasn't until the second season that somebody I really respect, an actress on the show, she came up to me when we wrapped up, and she said, you know, I appreciate how serious you take this, and I see you here busting your ass and going hard. And I was like, oh, shit. She respect the work. You know what I mean?
Respect the work, and that's hard. All that
Shout
they
out
add.
to Ari from MSNBC.
Yes, sir. You did your thing in night school. You did your thing in that Empire joint. Hey, like I said, some people have a natural ability where it's just, they're just, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like you have that, it's not charm, it's whatever the fuck it is, chutzpah, whatever the fuck they call it. It's just something that you have where you're just so engaging that people want to know what you're doing next, or they want to be a part of what you're doing next, or bringing you in and saying, look, can you do this? I think you can do this. Try this out. And I mean, a lot of people do, like, they have these aspirations to get where a lot of us are right now. And the fact that they do the work and still can't get these jobs, you have to respect the fact that you have to show up to work every day on time, especially for those actors and actresses that didn't get that part because you got it, because they would have did the work. They would have showed up on time, not just showing up on time, but they would have showed up ready to engage in this scene. And
I had a conversation with somebody I respect from acting one time, and they told me that they do it for the art. You know what I mean? And they really, I could tell, they didn't tell me, but I could tell they got really mad at me when I said, yo, I do it for the money. And she didn't understand that, because she was like, yo, I go to all these, this. And I'm like, yo, nobody gave me nothing free. I study the part. I go up in there, me with a white light with fucking 4 white people, and I got to do the part. You know, that shit is nerve-wracking.
That shit is nerve-wracking as fuck.
They give you a fucking 30 pages and tell you, yo, come tomorrow. We want you to try out. You go in there, it's an all-white room with like 5 white people staring at you, and you doing the hood part, or whatever the case may be. You're supposed to pop. You know, I'm Mexican horns. You know, I'm going to roll up on it. Like, the shit is just mad weird, right?
Yeah, it is.
It ain't like when you show up at Belly and Nas is in the role, or it ain't like that. It's like you in a room. It's almost like you getting interrogated. So I put in
Right.
my dues, but I don't think she really understood me when I was telling her, like, yo, I'm trying to crack this acting game. You know, I go all out from A to Z, but I'm trying to bust that bitch open.
And because people out there getting 30 million a movie.
Yeah,
5, 10 million a movie.
The art. She wants to be, you know, the art. I'm like, no, I want the bag. You know, I'm gonna go all out.
Well, I mean, there's a difference between theater actors and movie actors, and a lot of theater actors do not respect, not exactly don't respect them, but they see it more as them doing it for money as opposed to doing it for the art, because that's what they truly are. They're artists. And if you could ever get your hands on something where you could do a play, do that shit. I would love to see where your mind would take some shit, because, brother, I mean, all facets of hip hop is there in you. You've been around this shit since the 80s, brother. I could pull up a video right now, Lord Finesse video, and your ass in there doing it. Like, come on, my G. Like, come on, brother.
Lord Finesse being my, you know, he's my inspiration. You know, Finesse come from my projects, and he kept telling me he gonna make it rapping. And I was in the streets. I ain't believe it, but when I heard his music, sometimes you gotta see shit to believe it. When I heard his music on the radio and Red Alert playing his music, he inspired me to take it real. And I said, you know what, maybe I can become a rapper. You know what I'm saying? So, and then I took it from there. But Finesse inspired my whole career, my whole everything. You know what I mean?
But you was in that movement. Y'all all grew up around each other, right?
Yeah, yup, same projects. But to us, in Digging in the Crates, not Fat Joe, Terror Squad, or none, but in Digging in the Crates, we look at Finesse as the cornerstone, the biggest nigga in Digging in the Crates.
Wow, yeah.
So like when we all sit down, even though we got OCs from Brooklyn, but we adopted him over here, and then we got Big L from Harlem.
Yeah.
And then all of us together, Showbiz. AG, one of the most underrated rappers of all time. He dead nice, Diamond D. But we always looked at, or well, at least me, I always looked at Finesse as the franchise player of Digging in the Crates. To this day. So like if we get together and we do a project now, I still look at Finesse like he's the franchise player.
Right.
Yeah. I'm the nigga that locked up. You know what I mean? I'm the wild card. You know what I mean? Like Finesse was always the most lyrical, the guy we looked up to. And Joe just a wild card. I don't think nobody can listen to Fat Joe, Flow Joe, and stop the tape, pause it, and be like, yo, this nigga's gonna have Lean Back all the way up, all these records in the future. He might discover Big Pun. Like nobody thought that. Like, you know what I mean? It was more like,
well, I mean, we could have said that about a lot of us, man. It was your drive, though. The drive is what made everything fall into place. And as you went on, you seen things a whole lot different. As experiences went on, pen game got sharper, things started coming into perspective, business mindsets in. You have a family now. It's like I got to provide for them, and then you look back, and this is what we don't do enough. We got to reflect on the shit we did and look in the mirror and say, I'm a bad motherfucker. Look at this shit. I did all this. I did this.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Because this getting old shit, I don't like it. I'm being honest. I don't know about you. I don't like it. I was telling my wife today, I said, I don't like this shit.
I think I'm getting better, boy. I'm telling you. Exercise is the key.
No, I see you cock diesel.
I ain't playing with
it. You caught that cock diesel bug. You know what I'm saying? You in there hard. But
you know what did it for me? What's crazy? What did it for me? Not to cut you off, but what did it for me was I seen Son from Geechee Suede and fuck, I'm mad at myself.
What, huh?
Yeah, my G.
They was ahead of their time, Camp Low. They was ahead of their time.
Yo, I ran into these dudes overseas, right? And I'm talking to the brown skin dude, the one that he an L brother. He talk ill as fuck.
Nasty boy.
Nasty. Talk about it, right?
Nasty
as fuck. So I'm talking to him.
We've been talking to them, man. They were supposed to
I see the other dude every now and then and shit, and the same shit happens every time. I'm standing there, I'm talking to my guy, you know, TUPAC in the mouth. He killing it right now. And after 15 minutes, I'm like, yo, where your man at? The nigga was standing there the whole time. I didn't recognize the nigga because now he diesel. Like
the brown skin dude or the
yeah,
other one?
the light skinned dude.
The light skinned dude. He diesel now?
He diesel now, nigga. Like,
he was like, yo, I gotta step my shit up.
Yeah. What I'm paying this membership for, and I'll never go. Sonny Chiba, that's like, my dude. Sonny Chiba. Sonny Chiba, one of the coolest. I mean, he talked just like he rapped, my dude. Like,
I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't want to make him feel bad. I don't want to make him feel depressed. But he was supposed to be a giant in this game, like a giant.
Yeah.
Like their swag was on 10 million.
Way ahead of their time. Like, way ahead of their time.
Beyond. When I hear that shit now, when the shit come on, I just be like, oh my God. Every time. You know what I'm saying? Every time I hear that shit, I be like, yo, this shit's crazy right here, man. This shit out of control. So,
low, baby.
Oh, my brother, I'm gonna let you go, man. You gave me some beautiful time. I fuck with you, man. I'm sorry.
My wife it left the dogs out the rain. Pardon me, man. It's all good.
Hey, yo, man, I'm gonna tell you, I'm sorry because I don't know if it was just a rumor, but when we did John Blaze, we took your voice and we put it in there, and I had Nas and Pun and Ray, and little Birdie got back to me and was like, yo, Meth was mad you ain't give him a verse on that joint. Is there any truth to that rumor, or
ain't no truth to that shit right there? I was rooting for Ray.
My whole life, I was like, damn, man, I got Meth mad at me. I was, you know, it was John Blaze, ain't a damn.
Yeah, I was just hoping Ray had the best verse, but Pun killed everybody on that. Oh my gosh, like I gotta watch that shit after I get off the phone with you. I gotta watch that video.
Yeah, that John Blaze, man, that John Blaze, something else. But yeah, Pun came with it.
Crazy. Oh, y'all had old girl in it. Y'all had from Belly.
Yeah, she was in the video.
Yeah,
from Belly, she was in Belly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, her first joint was Bronxtown.
Yes, see, you know what I mean. Oh,
remember,
before we go any further, I just gotta say this, God. Houdini, one of the most slept-on duos of all time. Ecstasy. Listen, go back and listen to his rhymes. Go back and listen. Big Mouth. Listen to his rhymes on Big Mouth. Listen to his rhymes on The Freaks Come Out, especially The Freaks Come Out at Night. Nigga is nasty.
How many of us have them?
Come on.
Friends.
Come on. Houdini was that lick, B. I'm tired of people not giving them their roses. I'm giving it to them now. Houdini, y'all first album was monster.
I agree.
Monster. Even the second album, Funky Beat.
You made me think of Cash Rule Everything Around Me. Cream, get the money. Dollar, dollar bill, y'all. You know, that's one of the greatest hooks in hip hop. Well, the song's one of the greatest ones, but that hook from A to Z. Like, how did you come up? You was just in the studio, and that's what came. Cream, you broke it down.
I was with my boy Each B, may he rest. And we was at Weebay house. The dude that played Weebay, Hassan. We was at Hassan's house. Yeah. And his dad had this record. And I forgot the artist's name, but that was the record. Dollar bill, y'all. Dollar bill, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
Dollar.
Dollar bill, y'all. Dollar bill, y'all. Dollar bill, y'all. Yeah, that was the shit.
And that always stuck in my head. So when RZA was like, and my boy Ray the Ruckus.
That shit, that beat was crazy.
Now, the first part of it, though, the Cash Rule Everything Around Me, my boy Ray used to always do like these analogies of every word, different words and shit like that. And he came up with Cash Rule. He used to write me letters from jail and shit. And he came up with the Cash Rules Everything Around Me. You know what I mean? And that, it just fit perfect. It was perfect that I had that experience there, and I brought that shit to the studio, and the rest is just history, you know? I used to be a hook writing motherfucker. Yeah.
Ain't that some shit? You know that's the hardest thing to do in a record as an artist, is hooks.
Yeah.
There's plenty of rappers that can rap and spit all the bars they want, but don't have what it takes to make a hit hook.
Right, you know about that, bro.
That's the hardest thing to do. So whenever any rapper was coming up and they tell me, yo, Joe, let me spit, I'd be like, yo, tell me your hook. I want it, because anybody spit bars. Bars
all day.
Well, who can make a hook? Who
and that's exactly what it's there for.
Who can make
the
it
hook.
cash rule everything around me? I want to hear the hook.
Jimmy Spice is the artist, they say. Yeah, I want to hear the hook because that's the point of it. It's supposed to hook you and get you. For real. It's supposed to. You know what I mean?
Man,
but
I love you. Thank you for your time,
I love you
my
too,
brother.
brother.
We all gonna be tuned into power, baby.